there, and welcome back to Scrap with Penny, where paper meets story. I'm here today with the fourth and final mini kit from the July flavor of the month as the guest designer for the ScrapRoom Kit Club. And today we've got Echo Park Firefly on tap. This kit has such a cute nature-inspired vibe with the soft colors and the floral and just the right touch of summer charm. So it's been fun to explore the 4 mini kits this month, and I'm excited to dig in and tackle this last one. But before we get started, I just want to say another heartfelt thank you to Rochelle and the whole team at the ScrapRoom. It was such an honor and a delight to be invited to be part of this month's creative fun, and it's been so joyful to play along and share these projects with each of you. I hope that you've enjoyed it just half as much as I have. And if you're new here, the ScrapRoom's Flavor of the Month kit includes 4 coordinated mini kits along with a sketch, a Freaky Fast Friday formula, a cut file, and then a Facebook community of support and inspiration. So whether you've been following along all along or you're just joining me from the ScrapRoom community, welcome. I'd love for you to subscribe so you don't miss what's next. I actually am considering creating a bonus layout using this month's Freaky Fast Friday formula. So I think there might be some more July inspiration headed your way. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Scrap with Penny for extra peeks behind the scenes and content in between video posts. So without any further ado, let's take a look at what's in the Firefly mini kit and jump into today's layout. So I have it all spread out here, and the kit starts with 2 sheets of black cardstock. And you know, at first I thought this was navy, but I do actually think that it is black, and the black cardstock supports that. And then you've got your 3 pieces of pattern paper, and then the cardstock sticker sheet was included in the kit, and these enamel dots were part of the add-on embellishment. So what I've worked with this month is the July Flavor of the Month kit and the add-on embellishment kit. So you may remember we had Simple Stories, Happy Travels, we had Paige Evans, Happy Haven, we had Vicki Booten's Cut and Paste, and then What's Not to Love About finishing it off with some Echo Park. So we can get started looking at the cardstock stickers. So many possibilities on here. And the name Firefly gives you all you need to know about this kit content. So it's going to be about letting your light shine, catching little bugs at night, and gosh, it's such a cute little sticker. And I'm going to tell you now that when I opened up this kit, I didn't know what I was going to do with this, and I'm going to come back to that in a little bit. Next up, we have this piece of plaid paper, and the reverse is this lovely blue tone-on-tone geometric pattern, if you will. You know, I got excited when I saw some blue. Then we have this floral. It's got the soft peach, the yellow, it's not quite periwinkle, maybe it's a cornflower blue. And then there's this dot on the back. And then here's this yellow with these little X on them, like little cross stitch. And then here's a little lightning bug and flower motif. So here's the reverse sides. When I go to make a page, someone was asking me recently how I decide what I'm going to do. And it varies. Sometimes you've got a big event that just happened, or a fun or special event, and you're really very photo driven. And you start with photos, and you go and you pull paper to match, and you know, usually you find some inspiration in there, whether it's a sketch or you've seen something out there that you want to emulate. So there's that, and usually that's the way I go. Usually it's photo driven. Another option is your layout is going to be story driven. An example that I can think of for that on me is that I wanted to tell a story about the Magical Express at Walt Disney World retiring. And so I went and found photos to support that, and I had paper. And so in that case, my story drove my layout. And then, you know, sometimes you get something in, and what you've got is what drives you to play. It's what drives your creative process or your layout that you're going to make. One recent example for me of that was I got in a cute little dog collection, and I wanted to make a layout about my dogs. And then another example is that my working through this July mini kit as a guest designer, in 3 of the 4 instances, you could say that my collection is what drove the stories. So all that to say, a very long way, when I was looking at this little sticker, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine, I was reminded of, honestly, growing up, going to Vacation Bible School as a child and singing that song. And, you know, my mom lives with me, and every once in a while when she sits out on the patio, she will sing. And it's funny to me because a lot of times the songs that she'll sing are songs that we sang, you know, 50, 55 years ago. And a lot of them are from VBS. And so it's just kind of funny or serendipitous, I guess. So for me, I decided that this little sticker sheet here is going to drive my process. And I went looking for pictures, and I don't have that many from my childhood. But this is a photo when I got my mother's pictures when she moved in with us. This is a picture of the inside of the church that I went to as a child. And this is the only picture I have. And this was later torn down, and they built a different auditorium. And so when I got married, it was not here. But I wanted this picture. These people don't represent anything in this picture. I know who they are, but on my story, I'm going to key off of the actual building. And it's the only image I had. Then fast forward, I guess 35 years, and I have pictures of my kids singing at VBS. So here's my oldest and here's my youngest. And this was 2003. So still kind of a terrible photo quality, but I would have taken this with my digital. No, it wouldn't have been digital. It would have been straight 35 millimeter. And so here's a close-up of each of my sons, and I'm going to try and trim those down and work them in. And then my third photo is 2 actual fireflies on my evening walk, and just kind of resonating on all of this journey and where I am now. And I saw these recently when I was walking, and I stood still and I just kept shooting. I just kept hitting the button on my phone camera, and I captured 2 of them lit up, and I don't even know that you can see them substantially, but I know they're there. So yeah, they're in there. So this is kind of my story, is where I started, where I am now. And I'm thinking that I'm going to do a grid layout, and I've got 3 pictures. I'm going to tuck 2 pictures in somewhere in the grid. And so what I'm going to have 9 squares, and 3 of those are pictures, so I'll have 6 pieces of paper. and I have pulled 2 square dies to use to cut the paper, and I think I'm going to go with the pierced stacks, and this is my favorite things. Reason being, I might want to layer some of them, and if I layer, I might want to stitch. And so I don't want to do the stitched dies. I think I'm going to do the pierced. So the first thing that I'm going to do is cut my 6 squares of paper, and we'll see where we go on this. I am going to go with the black cardstock included in the kit as my base, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to gut this plaid and use this plaid as the exterior margin, and then I'll have 3, 6, 9 squares here in the middle of this black centered up. So I've trimmed 1.5 inches off of the side and the top of this black cardstock, and so this is what my border will look like. So what I'm going to need to do to access this paper and the plaid is I'm going to gut the center of this, and that'll give me some paper for cutting and putting into the middle. I thought I would share, in case you've never gutted a paper, I just thought I would share. So this is where it's going to cut, and I want to leave a pretty good margin. So I've moved my paper over to the edge, and I'm going to come in just a little so I can see. Well, this blue tape, I have that on there from a previous exercise. So I'm going to start at the blue tape and come down. And if my corners don't meet exactly, then when I finish, I can just grab my scissors and separate them. But somehow I'm able to eyeball this 2 inches pretty well. I was thinking when I was introducing the story is that, you know, my little tagline for my channel is where paper meets story. And today you're going to get to see that live out. So here we go. We're just going to trim that right there. And then I've got this nice block. I can get 2 pieces out of that for my grid. And here's our foundation. Here's where we're headed. Have you ever done a layout that was driven off of a sticker on a sticker sheet? This is going to be a first for me, but it's been fun to play along with the scrap room and be challenged creatively to come up with some fun things to share with you. So let me go and cut my little squares, and I'll be right back. So just a little check-in. I've got my photos trimmed down, and I was thinking about putting a piece of white from the Vicky Booten kit that I have left over. It's that basil fig twirl. And the thing is, I don't think it does anything for me because of the white and the plaid, but I just wanted to show you that possibility in case it was something that you might want to do. So I've got this ready like this, and I'm gonna go ahead and tape this down and move on to cutting my pattern paper. There are a lot of times that I use these acrylic stamping corners to help me mat my paper to paper when I do these borders. And I share this a lot. I just wanted to go ahead and, share this. So I'm using a 3/4 inch because, I said I cut 1.5 off of the top and the side. So that took me down to 10.5 squared. So that would give me 1.5, which half of that is 3/4. So sometimes I joke that maybe my channel should be called Math with Penny, but I was an accountant, and so I actually love math, and it's one of the things I love, but I try to make it easy for those of you that don't. So I have this 12-inch Misty, which I bought when she only had the little bitty one and this one, and I'm so glad I held on to it, because when I started making cards in 2020, I picked up these corners from the recommendation of a friend, Jess, and I use them in my scrapbooking so much. So I've got my magnet here, I've got this corner here, my paper's down. So let me get adhesive on this. So I just ran my ATG along the back. I'm gonna flip this over. I'm holding this steady and I'm just coming in, lining it up. And because I've got a plaid, I can kind of make sure I'm staying true to it. And there we go. So you can just take your corner around and double check, and it should all be flush and even. So that's just a little tip for me to you. If you don't have to even have a MISTI, you can use magnets or you can use low mint tack tape. So anyway, it's actually low tack mint tape. Some of that repositional tape. So, okay. So here is where I am right now. I've got 3x3 squares cut with this die, and I went ahead and trimmed my pictures down to 2.5, and I did go back to that fig twirl from the Vicky Booten kit, and I like it because each of these are the same, each of these squares are the same, and then it gives a little map for the pictures to help them pop. And I'm thinking that I'm going to do a journaling pocket up here, hidden journaling, because I think I've got more to say than what would actually logically fit on the page. So what I'm gonna do now is start taping these down, and then I'll pull some embellishments for these squares. So to tape these down, I figured out that I've got a 3-inch square and a 12-inch piece of paper, so I should have 4.5 on each side for this to be centered. And so I did little pencil lines, and I'm going to tape this one down first, and then I'll work out from that. So it's centered up and it's down, and I'm going to go on to the next one. I'm using my acrylic stamping corner that is little bitty. I should have seen 1/8, I think. Yeah, 1/8. Because I just want the smallest of interior margins, because I'd rather have the margin on the edge. And I have a eraser that'll get these pencil lines up. So I'm just gonna go, okay. Then I've got a photo over here. I'm not gonna do all of this on film because it might be a little repetitive, but I thought if you could see a little bit of it, it would help. Now I'm working against my right-handedness here. There we go. Okay, I'll be back when it's all done. So I've got them all taped down, and I have to say that I really do love working with the acrylic corners because I think it makes margins and accuracy so much easier. So now I've got my pictures, and I think honestly I'm going to pop them up for a little bit of dimension. So that'll be the next thing I do, and we're going like that. I'm unsure on my little ones where I'm going to work them in. I'm going to reserve that decision until the end. So here's what I have right now, and I feel really good about all of this. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the lightning bugs pulled, and I've got them spread around. This will go down centered, and I'm thinking I'm going to let it serve as my title. And that's mainly because it's going to be the catalyst for my journaling, which I still need to type up, and it'll tuck under back here with a little tab, and I've got that kind of going in my mind. I've got my enamel dots from my embellishment add-on kit that I will circle around the page once I get everything taped down. And I want to stitch, and I can't decide if I want to stitch black right here or black right here. I'm probably going to go with it right here. I think that'll add some texture and some definition. because, you know, I didn't put paper under this, and I just want something to kind of set this little border area off. So what do you think? I mean, I know it's going to be, probably no one else is going to use this story idea for this paper line, but it's an endearing story to me, and I'm going to go ahead and document it. And so I think what I'm going to do next is go ahead and tape all of this down and work on my journaling. So I'll be back. It's so hard to see the pencil lines on the black, but I just wanted to let you know that I had used my Omni Grid ruler to draw a margin around all of the pattern paper. And you can see I did decide to keep the photos, mainly because I don't see me doing a full layout about this, and because they support the story. So if you've never hand stitched, I just came in on an equidistant around the edge, and the next thing I'll do is poke my holes. Then I'll erase my pencil lines and get my black thread out. So I'm back and my layout is complete. And before I show you the finished product, I thought I would go over real quick what's left in this Echo Park Firefly mini kit. You can see I still have several enamel dots left, and on my cardstock sticker sheet, that's always a mouthful, I have several options still available. Watch for where I use this sticker strip. It might surprise you. I only used 2 squares of this, one yellow and one blue, so there's a lot left here. I've got a lot of this floral. When I came in for my 3-inch squares, I tried to avoid the coral simply because I felt like it clashed with all of the brown in one of my photos. And then the reverse is this coral. I have one entire sheet of black cardstock left. And I guess on this plaid, this is all I've got left. I don't see anything anywhere else. So I guess that makes sense because I would have used 2 squares. So, okay, so here's the layout. I added enamel dots. I'm just gonna walk you through a little bit of the design real quick. So I did pop my photo up with foam, you may recall. I put these flat because I just thought they were like supporting characters, and I didn't want there to be, you know, foam, foam, foam. And all of my embellishments are up on foam, including the little lightning bugs. I liked the yellow in the paper and the yellow in their shirts. I thought that was really wonderful that it coordinated. And so I was looking for yellow in the floral. And so I've got my yellow moving around the page, and I'm happy with that. When I put the enamel dots down, I just went for the most part, for a contrasting color. And I've got light blue, the sage green, and the navy here. And then I've just got one here, and then 3 here. So I think that's 8 enamel dots. I wasn't hung up over needing to get a 9th one on there. I thought it all worked. And on these little sticker strips, I just liked that they offered some thoughts about what we like about lightning bugs, and I guess I should say fireflies. So here I brought some floral elements in to marry with this sticker and to tie into the flowers here and here and here. And I feel like the grid does the heavy lifting. And so whenever you've got something and you're not really sure what your sketch would be, 3 rows of 3x3 squares is just a real easy page to pull together. And your squares can be photos, or it can be paper, it can be title. I could even, if I had just a little bit of journaling, I could have journaled here instead of this. So the nice thing is that your imagination can kind of run wild, and the grid is going to ground, whatever you do. So I like the plaid on the outside. I feel like it kind of sets off the tone, and I just feel really good about the completion of this and how it all looks and how it came together. I did put this picture up in the top right corner because it's taken from this angle, and that's my mom right there. And I think I'm this girl back here on the back row. My sister is right there. So this was actually a New Year's Eve party at the church when I was in high school. So anyway, my dad took the photo, and I know right where he's standing. And so there's a lot of memories that come to mind when I look at this photo. And then also here too, you know, my son's represented and on stage. And these pictures ended up being 2.5 square by the time I trimmed them down to fit inside this 3-inch. And I think this basil fig twirl is just a perfect use of that paper because it just goes perfectly with it. So anyway, I just thought I would kind of talk you through some of the design. I had a lot of fun with it, and it tells a story, and that story is hidden up here in hidden journaling. And I used that border sticker strip to come in on this side and on this side, and then I rounded my corners. So on the back side, you can see, here's my pocket for it. Looks like I need to put some liquid adhesive down there to help secure. I used score tape. But when you have a big story and you don't want to necessarily clutter up your page, this is a good trick, and I've used it more than once. So you can see I did get my black stitching done around the edge, and I think it's just the perfect finishing touch for the layout itself. So yeah, what do you think? Does it surprise you? I'll be a little transparent and read you the journaling. When I saw this paper, I was immediately struck by the sticker that called out to me the refrain of an old song from my childhood days at VBS, Vacation Bible School. It made me fondly recall the summer tradition of gathering nightly for 1 week, singing raucous, silly songs, hearing lessons, gathering up friends to take, and the special end cap to each night, the red Kool-Aid punch and the cookie. Oh, such sweet rewards for a simple child of the 60s. The church auditorium was central gathering, and wooden yardstick poles and simple signs made with Marks-a-Lot markers divided the rows of seating by grade. One quickly found their spot. It was the best of church to me, playful, together, casual, fun. I recall it all so very fondly. When the boys were younger, we of course attended church where they also had VBS, and man, had it evolved over 30 years. Big themes, songs written especially for the lesson series, scripts for a finale night production. It was definitely different than my simple flannel graph lessons of old, and we were far past Kool-Aid and cookies. Everything was more elaborate, but I guess that is in keeping with the times. The boys loved the VBS put on by Calvary Baptist, and we loved that they loved it. We left McAllen right as they were aging out of VBS, and so all of our experiences and memories of it remain rooted in the sweet and slow culture of the South Rio Grande Valley. Fast forward another couple decades. Last week, our church here in McKinney hosted VBS. They almost lured me in with the adorable True North graphic with the beaver and the allusions to Alaska. Of course, I always liked the idea of some things more than the execution. I knew with all I had going, this was not the year for me to volunteer. Over 2,000 kids. Wow. On an evening walk, I saw some fireflies lighting up the creek bed area. It was a gentle reminder that even where I am, I can still let my little light shine. And that, my friends, is going to wrap up today's layout using the Echo Park Firefly mini kit from the July flavor of the month. I absolutely loved creating this grid design to tell the story across time, spanning from childhood moments to present day reflections. And the collection itself was a perfect fit for the summer infused, light-filled theme of my story. I can't wrap this up without giving another huge thanks to Rochelle and the ScrapRoom team for including me as the July guest designer. It's been a complete joy working through these kits and sharing the process with you as I have gone along. So there may or may not be a bonus project, but be sure to watch for a wrap-up video with a full recap of all of this month's creative goodness. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And be sure to stop by Instagram at Scrap with Penny, where I post behind the scenes peeks and stories from the scrapbook table. And as always, thanks for hanging out with me and joining me as guest designer this month. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. I'll be back soon with more layouts, videos, and a little stash busted magic. So please come back and crop with me. Until next time, happy scrapping, and remember, this is where paper meets story. Bye-bye.